It's time for us to take back our communities and create unity. Community vibes with BrownEyes. Come take a walk with me. Community vibes with BrownEyes. Get it, King T finesse. We hit the streets running. You know we coming. Building with knowledge to inform, to bring the love in. It's the unity in our community. Reform, move on to be strong. It takes you and me. Bring the issues, let's talk about it. Make a plan, bring it to life, and never doubt it. To inspire, keep you going higher. Words put to action, fuel to the fire. Life gets better when we do it together. BrownEyes, King T, finesse, time to get up. Get up. Get up. For everyone, the best. Hit it, King T, finesse. Join in and catch the vibe. All right. Community vibe with BrownEyes. Everyone the best and is blessed to be here for another episode of Community Vibes with BrownEyes. I want to thank y'all all for tuning in. We have a wonderful show today with a powerhouse guest, y'all. I'm going to tell you, you're going to love this guest, so be prepared to get your popcorn and stay in front of the screen and be inspired and empowered. I want to introduce to y'all our guest for today, celebrity photographer to the stars, Dr. Ronnie Wright.
I'd like to say hello, friends, family, colleagues, and others. What's going on?
You got to let them applause come in. Get your flowers while you're alive. That's what they say. You got to get this man his flowers. Ronnie is a celebrity photographer to the stars. Any celebrity that you can even think of, he has, done for years. Magazine covers, CD covers, album covers, personal photo shoots, different award show groups that he has done. But I'm going to let him tell his own story a little later after I thank you all for coming out. I want to give a shout out to my sponsors, people who have been backing me from day one that I started this show. Thank you all for consistently coming out to support Community Vibes with BrownEyes. I mean, with your presence and with your financial donations that you have given to keep this show running. And for a few, I want to shout out to our newest ones, Pat Patterson, Karen Williams, Latoya Nesbitt, Maisha McDonald. Thank you very much for your contributions and all of your support that you have been giving me. Without you, I would not be able to keep this going on, so I want to thank you. For those of you who are new here watching, just want to let you know that Community Vibes with BrownEyes is a project that was designated to reach into the depths of the community to shine light on those who are often overlooked or in the backgrounds. People like activists, community leaders, nonprofit organizations, performing artists, visual artists, young people, residents, people just like you and me who decide to take their talent and their skill and use it to come out into the community and create something great that everyone can benefit from as a resource. So that's what Community Vibes with BrownEyes is all about. And it is my desire that we not just get together to just talk about these things, because we're always talking about things, but to shine some light on those things so that we could show the great things that are being done in our community by people who live right here in our communities. And that is my desire. So I thank you all once again for tuning in and hope that you are inspired with today and today's show. Well, so today's show, since we have our celebrity photographer, Dr. Ronnie Wright, the show is entitled Through the Lens, a Celebrity Photographer's Empowering Journey. And believe me, it's an empowering one and inspiring, because if anybody know, photography can mean a lot of things to people. I like to take pictures. I don't know about anybody out there. We know he likes to take pictures, but I love taking pictures. I'm not a professional photographer, but people often love me taking pictures at their events, and then I send them the pictures. They like, wow, thank you for taking it. Because what a photographer does and what I do when I'm photographing people and things is I'm capturing the world as I see it. I'm taking the picture so that I can capture the world the way I see it, and I'm also seeing the world for what it is, and I'm taking it in my view and then sharing it with you and others. Photography can be also used as therapy. Just like with young children, they use artwork and different, art methods to be a therapeutic aspect to them developing mentally. So is photography. Photography can mean a lot of things. They have a lot of people who use photography for that, and it has saved their lives even. And so what Ronnie is doing with the celebrities, he's capturing, pictures for audiences, for us to, look over in magazines and be excited about our favorite artists. We get a peek inside of what took place or what they're looking like. For them, he takes great pictures of them and make their lives look great, in these magazines and on these spreads and everything. And then for him, he's making himself feel good, I'm sure, like I do, because he's making everybody else look good. So I'm going to stop talking because I could go on and on about photography and everything, but I want to learn a little bit more, and I'm sure you do too, about the photographer behind the lens, Dr. Ronnie Wright. So Dr. Ronnie Wright.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for having me here.
Yes, thank you for coming out. I should have said that first. You could have been anywhere else on the planet because I know you got a lot going on.
First of all, I don't want to be out there because it's too hot. It's nice and cool in here. Oh, it's too hot.
It's too hot and I'm too cool. He came into the cool room with the coolest podcaster in the house today, BrownEyes. Give him a round of applause for that. That's what I'm talking about. Coming out to hang with the cool girl today. But we want to get to know you a little bit. We want to know about you, your early humble beginnings, like where you grew up at, and just tell us a little bit about your life.
Okay, first of all, I grew up in a mother and father household with siblings. I had brothers and sisters, and we grew up in Harlem, the area we call Sugar Hill. And life was so beautiful, coming up. We didn't know if we didn't have anything because we always had everything.
Right.
And in my neighborhood was just a beautiful thing. We had entertainers on our block and stuff like that. And we was in the house by sundown or whatever. And I learned from my mother and father. And my mother and father was they were entertainers as well, not professionally, but they did, do a lot of things. My father was a tap dancer, vaudevillian.
Wow.
My mother was a piano player. And on the weekends, they would have card games. And their friends was like Red Fox, Slappy White,
wow,
Nipsey Russell,
okay.
Miles Maybelline, and stuff like that. And we were kids, and we would see these people come to our house, and we knew they was, because we had seen them on TV.
Right.
We knew who they were, but we didn't know who they were.
Wow.
And if I had a camera then, it would have been awesome. And my sister and I, we went, it was a bar around the corner called the Palm Tree. And Rochester from the Jack Benny show took me and my sister around there and bought us a Coke. We thought that was the best Coke in the whole wide world because we was there with Rochester, the guy from the Jack Benny show. And life after that was just...
So your childhood was filled with rubbing elbows with the jet sets from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That must have been a rich upbringing, with all these great people coming in your presence. And, that's why I always say some of us were meant to be a certain place. Because one thing I want to mention, even at the top of this show, is that I noticed in every topic that we're going to be talking about today, you have reached the plateau of everything you have done in life. I mean, like your drive and just what the energy that you put into it gives you that top recognition to be the best at it. And a lot of people are not like that. So you're a very special person. I hope you know that. And a lot of people are cherishing your special gift of photography and everything else that you do. So like growing up in New York City, because I grew up in New York City too, there's a lot of music and things, but I grew up in Brooklyn. And I grew up in Brownsville, Brooklyn. It wasn't that, I had no singers walking through my house. But New York is a tough city, though, and in spite of, my mom was a great mom. I grew up with my mom, and she always had us out on trips and learning new things and everything. But the neighborhood, we had to do things. So what did you do, besides your mom and the music and everything?
I was like a regular kid. We played in the battlegrounds. I played basketball, and I was in other sports too, and just had good times. And let me tell you, I used to go to Apollo. Well, first of all, I used to sell the papers on my block every Sunday,
Paper boy.
Yeah, and I had different entertainers that I used to sell to, like on Della Reese. I used to take her papers to her on Sunday. Chuck D's grandma, I used to take her papers to her, and a couple other people. We on my block we had some of the guys from the Unifics. They lived on that block. Gerald Lawson lived down the street in my uncle's building.
Wow.
This is on 151st Street between Broadway and Amsterdam. This is where I came up.
Nice.
And after I would sell the papers, my mother would let me and my friends go down to the Apollo. That's when it was $5 to get into the Apollo. You would see 5 acts, and hot dogs was like 50 cents. And we thought that.
Don't tell your age now. Don't tell your age.
I don't mind. I love my age. Life was just eureka, and I was like, hey. I was just glad to be there.
I love that. Like you explaining how you grew up. You're like the child that a whole lot of different celebrities. Like sort of like you're adopted family to them. They remember you bringing them their paper. They remember you living in the neighborhood, and then your parents had all these connections with people. So you was like this kid growing up, connected to all these celebrities. And then that's what made you feel comfortable with coming around them in the first place.
And you see, I was destined to do what I'm doing.
You're destined.
Show business was like my life.
Destined for greatness.
I had other intentions to do other things, but growing up around this, and like my sister, my brothers, and my brother-in-law, they always like doo-woppers back in the day. And my older sister, she grew up with Ronnie Spector and Leslie Uggams and Barbara McNair. They all went to Stitt Junior High School together, where Frankie Lyman all them went. And just being in that neighborhood was like the start of something new. And I'm coming up, so I fall right into the footsteps.
Right, I love it. The only celebrity I can remember growing up is Stephanie Mills' mother used to babysit me and my brother when we were younger in Brooklyn. And she was famous for that whiz thing back then. And I remember her dog jumped on my brother, tried to attack him one day, and his her mother paid for his pants because he had ripped his pants up. But I didn't grow up around a lot of celebrities, but I was always in a lot of shows, and I never knew growing up that through doing hip hop and community work that I would end up around so many different celebrities. So you just never know what's going to lead you in that direction.
Can I say something right quick?
Sure.
I heard the song that you did with Regina Bell, and your rapping skills is like phenomenal. And I think that, even though I had this growing up, but you got skills as well. So, like we develop things that we want to do. I mean, like, when we were kids, people say, what you want to do when you get older? Damn if I know. But, like when that bridge comes and you cross it, you cross it.
Right, exactly. And I met Regina Bell by being a youth in the a youth program, and I was rapping at the time, and she was one of the judges there, and she came backstage after I finished performing and came to me and said, "Girl, you bad. When you gonna be on my album?" And that was back in 1991 or something like that. And I never was on her album because I was in a bad, contract deal at the time, and I didn't want to record with anyone. But lo and behold, years later, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia as an adult. And I run into Regina again, my sister, who the whole family adopted me when I was in Atlanta.
Well, let them know what the song was so people can hear it now that we're talking about it.
Okay, the song is on Regina Bell's album, Love Forever Shines. It's a gospel album. It's track number 8, and it's called God Said. And it's a real powerful piece that we recorded in Houston, Texas. And lo and behold, she came to me and said, "Hey, we still supposed to do that song." And years later, here I am on her album. So I was honored to become an actual recording artist, on a real album, as a feature. So I thought that was a very beautiful thing. And, I never knew rap would lead me to meet so many people and do so many different things. But I never knew that community work would lead me to meet a lot of people, doing community work.
Praises go up and blessings come down.
And the blessings come down. But, in addition to, you had all this talent around you from all these big singers and artists, your mom playing piano, I'm figuring that that's what got you into singing, because if your mom and dad had this thing going on, that's what pushed you into singing.
Oh, let me tell you, my mother has some tricks up her sleeve. She not only played the piano, she played the harp, she played the drums, she played guitar, and she played the juice harp. You know the little thing you...
What?
Yo, my mother was multi-talented. So all the kids, my brother, I had like 5 brothers and 2 sisters. So all of us, we could sing. We had the voice, the gift of voice, and a few of my brothers play instruments, and we were kind of like DeBarge before DeBarge.
I love it. I love DeBarge.
Yeah.
Okay, DeBarge was all that in a bag of chips for me.
Yeah.
So if you guys would like DeBarge, you a little ahead of me, during the time, music time, but I can remember a lot of the things and people that you're talking about because I'm not too far behind you. But I know you were singing, and somehow, you formed or got into the Seduction Band, and also you traveled and sang with Atlantic Star, a very popular group. Tell me a little bit about that experience. Like, what came first? Was it the Seduction Band?
Well, the Seduction Band came. I used to go to BMCC, Borough Manhattan Community College. This was back in the early '80s, and I met a young lady, Denise Smith. She was a drummer, and she was telling me, I had took the music course, and she knew I was in music, and she told me she had a band called Seduction, and she was the drummer. And they said they needed a lead vocalist, so I fit the description or the criteria. And I met her and another girl named Valerie Martin, and we all got together, and I went out in my journeys and met a couple of, band guys and put the rest of the band together, and Seduction was formed. So we started to rehearse, and I lived close to the Cellar Restaurant, which was on 95th and Columbus, and that's where all the entertainers performed. Stevie Wonder, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, everybody.
Nice.
So I knew the people there, the owners, and blah, blah, blah. So I got us our first gig basically in the cellar. And life after that was just crazy. And, with Atlantic Star, went on the road with them back in like '86, when Secret Lover and all that was out.
My
and that
favorite
was a
song.
beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just going on down the line. And then I also toured with Keith Sweat. And, I did a lot of touring. I did the Parliament Funkadelic thing. I first got into photography by shooting the funk. I was shooting Boosie and George Clinton and them, and just, getting pictures like that. Jesse Johnson, his review. And things started like around '77 when I was in high school. And I started, I got the photography bug back then.
Well, before you get into photography, I want to stay with this singing thing, because I want to know some of the places you traveled to and places you performed in as a singer, and what took place. When did you phase out of that?
As far as I've been was Japan and
you went to
Amsterdam
Japan?
and the rest, the United States. And I've been around the world, yeah. But it's still more to endeavor. There's still more things to do and more places to see and places to go. So I'm just thanking God every day for being blessed and having this gift, and I'm just thankful.
I'm thankful for you too, because your history needs to be spoken about, and just like photography speaks to documentation, to have these type of shows and things is very important for people to talk about their lives, because a lot of times we see work from people, we hear about their name, but we don't really know about the person. We don't really get to know the people behind, that's really doing these things. Like I always say, people always notice you for what you can do for them or what they're excited about, what they see in you, but do they really know you? And that is why I like to bring people on to talk about who they are, the real person. We know about your pictures. We're going to talk about that. But I wanted to get who Dr. Ronnie Wright was throughout his lifetime up until who we know you are as today as this great celebrity photographer. Now, I know that you grew up in a tough city and you sang some sweet, lovable songs. But what I want to find out is, how did you get into, I don't know if some of y'all know this or not, but but he's into martial arts. I'm talking about black belt, awarded, and everything. Like I told you, everything he gets into, he takes it to the plateau. He reaches high grounds with it. So when did did you have one big fight and say, hey, let me try this out?
That happened like back around like 73. I really got involved. My mother had she had hit the number. And
everybody played them numbers.
And she said, we getting out of New York. So we moved around 1971. So we moved to Greenville, South Carolina. And that was her hometown. And, you know, I met this guy, Will Wright, and he was a martial artist. And he started teaching me, and one thing led to another. So I started being involved in the Southeastern Karate Association. Then I started building my craft, and later on, when I got to New York, I started studying with, you know, Grandmaster Aaron Banks, great Grandmaster Aaron Banks, Jerry Fontanez, and you know, just so many different people. And I was around that clique, so I, you know, developed my craft and got good at it and did what I did, and here I am, you know, kicking ass. So that's why, you know, like when I became a photographer, nobody ever gave me no lip. I mean, they posed, they got in place, they did their thing, and life was just grand.
They didn't want you to put that martial arts stance on them, you know, get in that picture and get it right. Because not only will he shoot you with his camera, but he'll tap you with his hands and his feet too, to take care of you don't act right. You know, so I just thought that was a crazy dynamic, you know, that would happen. But you know what? I like to talk about things, you know, sometimes, you know, with talk shows and, you know, we talk about who we are and what we do, but I'm like you. I am a visual person. You know, you could tell me, it's just like somebody said, you know it's going to rain today, right? They said it's supposed to be heavy. I'm like, yeah, I know it's going to rain. And then you get out there and then all of a sudden the rain come down and everybody like, oh my God, it's raining and it's heavy. So it's one thing to tell somebody something, but to show them is a whole nother thing. So right now, I just want to run a little video I put together, you know, with the Seduction Band and you and your martial art movements. Let's run that tape.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
That was nice. Thank you for putting that together. That was beautiful.
Come on now. I mean, you was with some of the big ones. Like, you standing up there with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Fred the Hammer Williamson.
Yes.
Ty Mark from The Last Dragon, Michael Jai White.
Wow. Now tell me a little bit, what's this urban showcase?
Like
what was that urban showcase about?
Oh, that's something that we do every year. One of my senseis, Demetrius Angelo, he put that together through HBO. You know, he works with HBO as well. And he got all the classic martial artists from all around the world to come in. And we view their movies, and we have seminars, talkbacks, and you know, let everybody know that, you know, not only is martial arts one set of people, but it's universal.
Right.
And it exceedingly came from Africa, really. And it's just so much more. So we try to get that out to the masses and let people know that we're here and, come on and, let's learn how to take care of ourselves.
So is this why they always say, I am the African Mandingo, I'm the warrior?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because it comes from Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's good information.
Everything comes from Africa.
That's good. Yeah, you absolutely right. The motherland, that
right.
It's not called that by mistake.
Wantu Waturi, beautiful people.
Love it. Well, I really enjoyed that. So, like, what did you like out of between the band and then doing that martial arts? What did you like most about that?
I do both very well, and I'm well rounded at doing it, and I appreciate the thought of me being able to do it. So, they say what you do best. And I like everything. There's no limits to what I do. Like, people think I'm just a celebrity photographer, but I shoot cats, dogs, birds, trees, flowers, bees, everything.
You love it. I see. I got to learn from this guy right here. Because anybody that know me, a lot of people know me. They go out with me. They get mad at me because I take pictures of my food. I take pictures of my shoes. I take pictures out the window, flowers. I be at people events sometime, and it's so crazy because my camera, if you look at my camera, it has 5 lenses in the back, and I bought this phone purposely because I love taking pictures, and sometimes I go to people events and I'll send them the pictures that I took and they be like, dang girl, I shouldn't hide you instead of this photographer. His pictures don't even look that good.
You know what they said, variety is a spice of life.
Yes, variety is a spice of life. And I must admit, I have been gifted with a lot of talents as well. I have not hit the platinum ceiling like he has, but my skills do touch people's lives and I use them to make people feel good about contributing to whatever it is that they're doing. So that's the whole point of it all. I like to use what God has given me, as talents, because I have many of them, to help other people. If you're not serving people with it, to me, I feel like it's, what are you really doing keeping it to yourself? So you got to use your talents. But go ahead, you was gonna say something?
We got a long way to go with a lot of trials and tribulations, but Lord, as we keep the Lord in our daily life, and just thank Him for everything that we do, because somebody got to make it possible for us to do what we do.
Absolutely.
So I think He is the way.
And you're talking about somebody that's talking now that got his little doctorate from the Bible college that we didn't even mention. I mean, I can't mention to you everything that Dr. Ronnie Wright has done because on this 1 hour. He's gonna have to come back because we're gonna delve into a little more of photography, and different type of conversation based on the mental effect and therapeutic effect of photography, and look at some of his photography angles and some of those flowers and things that he's taken and talk about those things. But I want to move into, because I know that's what y'all all waiting for. I know y'all waiting for it, right? Okay, we want to move into the beginnings because you did the seduction band, you toured with Atlantic Star. You doing the martial arts. You're still doing that. So when did the photography really take off for you? First of all, how did you start taking pictures in the first place? And when did the photography really kick off for you?
All right, another thing. I told you my mother was gifted at musicianship. Mm-hmm. My mother was also the photographer in the family.
Have mercy.
So
Mama Wright.
She gave me my first little camera. Back then we had a 110 with a square bulb on it.
I remember that. You
could take 4 pictures at a time, and I would take that out and just start shooting. Like back in '67, '68, we was taking pictures in the park,
right?
Me and my family and stuff like that. And then I think I caught the bug then,
right?
But I really didn't get into it until like high school, like when I was in my junior high school,
right?
Around '76 or something like that. And one thing. Even though I was doing other things, I just happened to keep a camera around just to document things. And one thing led to another. And here I am later working with the greats, Michael Jackson, Barry White, Quincy Jones, Diana Ross, all the Jacksons.
Wow, prominent.
Tony Bennett, Madonna, you name it, Mariah Carey. And it's like... I got one particular picture I need to show you one day. I was in Nashville, Tennessee. We was doing a convention called the Impact Convention, and the Temptations was there, and I took a picture with them. And the Temptations had on white, I had on a black suit, and I put it up on Instagram and Facebook one day. I said, I went to sleep and woke up, and this was the dream. The picture of me with Otis holding my shoulder and the Temptations there. I'm like, whoa. Like sometimes, even though I work with everybody, it doesn't hit me till I look at something or I'm somewhere where it really hits me. And for Otis to have his hand on my shoulder, I'm like, this is a living legend right here. I done shot everybody. Little Richard, Aretha Franklin, you name it. But certain people just stick out. And my most famous one of all is I have a picture with me and Lena Horne, and I got a chance to work with her when she signed to
Stormy
Blue Note
Weather
Records.
I love that song.
And it dawns upon me. People be like, "What makes you tick?" It's things like that, little things like that really
that keeps you
click
motivated.
that light bulb on and be like, "Yo."
I mean, like, how do you think I feel right now with you on sitting here on my show?
I appreciate that.
I mean, like, I feel like how you feel with him touching your shoulder. Like, look who I got on my podcast. Like, imagine if I would have never, ventured out. This was just a thought, and I started out just by talking and got on iHeartRadio, and people started hearing it and was like, hey, I like your show, and then somebody said, why don't you go live? I was like, I don't really like the way I look on camera, but I'll try it out. And it's been kicking off, going ever since, and I'm getting all these great people on here and everything. But it's like when you first started taking pictures, what was your first professional big job, and how did you feel that day when you got your first big job?
A lot of people ask me that question. I really can't answer that because I don't know what my biggest job was back then, but it was big, believe me. And it was a joke going around. Sometimes I wouldn't have my camera. My friends be like, yo, man, you need to have that camera with you all the time because somebody going to call you and need you to shoot Michael Jackson one day. Lo and behold, I got that call from Laverne Perry, who used to work with Michael Jackson up at Epic. And he's like, Ron, I need you to go shoot Michael. I didn't have a camera with me, but I'll tell you one thing. I found the camera by 3 o'clock.
I know that's right.
Yeah. So,
So how did that go? Tell me a little bit. We talking about Michael Jackson. It was crazy.
Jackson. So I had to go down and shoot Michael. I forgot where we were, but we got it done. And, things started escalating and doing things. And then I started working for the magazines back in the day. I was always a big fan of Right On back in 1971 when that magazine came out. And Right On, the magazines I shoot for, or I have shot for, Right On magazine, Word Up, Black Beat, The Source, Vibe, Ebony, Essence, Jet, Newsweek, Time Life.
Heavyweight.
I got a chance to do it all, and I like to say thank you for the forefathers that paved the way for us, like Gordon Parks, James Van Der Zee.
And you got a chance to meet Gordon Parks.
Yes, I got a chance to work with him 3 times, and also Kwame Brathwaite, who we just lost. Those are the photographers that did things before us, and then I came up in the modern age when I got a chance to do the latest sensation of shooting photography, in the black spectrum. And, it was just a blessing to have that torch handed down to me through them. And, for me to walk on their backs and get to shoot and get to work and fraternize and have relationships with people like that. And now I have young photographers looking up to me.
Right.
Like I'm like one of those guys.
You are one of those guys.
I appreciate the thought, and I appreciate me being where I am and just giving all the love to the glory and the Most High and just doing what I do.
Well, you ain't done yet. You a living legend, and you're still young, and you still got work ahead of you that people are looking forward to. But you mentioned Word Up magazine, and all those. I used to be in Right On magazine, Word Up magazine, because I used to be performing all the time. In big talent events and town hall in New York City and a Harlem State Office building. And I remember all the time the young lady Kate Ferguson. She used to always come out to all the events, and I didn't make the front cover, okay, because I was not a signed artist, but I always made it somewhere in there featured in one of these shows and stuff with my foot soldiers, performing. And, when you said that, it just brought me back to a time where Kate used to come out to all the events, and I always to wind up in, Word Up magazine or Right On magazine.
Yeah, well, Cynthia Horner was the editor for Right On magazine, and Kate was for Word Up and Rap Masters.
Yeah.
And they were my bosses, and they used to send me out on assignments, and that was like when we first started, me and my other friends, the black photographers out here, we didn't do it and know that it was going to get this far.
Right.
We was doing it just to get the artists on the magazine covers, and we looked through the magazines. We would read other names, like I would read names like Bill Jones, who was one of the big black photographers out in L.A., Matthew Parson. It was just so many. And we never actually met, but we all of us shot for the same magazine. So when we did get that chance to meet each other, it was like, whoa. Like one celebrity to another. Like, we're celebrities in our own right because we help make the celebrities.
Absolutely.
And we help them to be seen, because if it wasn't for us to do what we did, you wouldn't have known who they were. You wouldn't have had a visual. So that was what we done.
Exactly. You can't have a party without the DJ.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So y'all make it happen. And you see, my thing is, were you self-taught?
Yes. I picked up books and started learning lighting and self-taught. Like when I was in high school, I didn't take the photography class because I had no interest in it. I didn't know I was going to be a photographer.
Wow.
But it was always in the back of my mind. I went to school for electricity and stuff like that, and
Right.
got my little diplomas and stuff from that. But I had no idea I was going to be a photographer until that one day that bug hit me. You know how a lot of people in the ministry said that God called them to be so-and-so, be a minister here, be a minister there. I guess He told
right.
me, you're going to be a photographer one day, boy. And lo and behold, here I am.
And to whom much
And
is
so
given,
thankful.
much is required.
Yes.
And He's fulfilling that. I know when you meet the celebrities, how is it when you meet them? Like, a lot of people wish they could meet a celebrity, like personality-wise. Are there, like, how are their attitudes? Are there, how is it being in a room with a celebrity? That's big time, an A-list celebrity.
Well, nowadays, I had a pride. I was a singer, back in the day, and I knew a lot of the guys from on the road. So for me to see them, I was kind of like I said, I was like a celebrity to them. So they would tell me to come and get in the picture with them, and this and that, and we'd do things. I would shoot the album covers, the magazine covers, or whatever it may be. And I knew things had hit when I started getting calls from like Barry White.
Ooh.
First, he
Love
called
it.
me. I thought it was my friend Harvey playing a joke. Yo, it's Barry, baby. I'm like, I hung up. And, I heard stories like this before. And he called back. He said, Barry said, don't you ever hang up on me again, nigga. I was like, oh, shit. So, I knew that, things that happened, getting calls from, like, different people.
Right.
You get the calls from Quincy Jones, Mariah Carey.
Yeah, could I get a call from Quincy or somebody?
Whoa, and me being close to a lot of artists, because I came up with them, and I was there for everybody's humble beginnings when they all started.
Right.
Especially doing through the late 70s, early 80s, and into the early 90s.
Right.
So I was there for the Boys to Men, the Mariah Careys, the Janet Jacksons, and everybody when they were starting. Even Criss Cross. Like, a lot of kids today don't even know who Criss Cross was because they was born after the fact.
After the fact,
Criss Cross
yeah.
came out in like 90 and 91.
Right.
And, they was like the grown men.
Yeah.
So you mention Criss Cross to the kids today, they'd be like,
They don't
what's
know.
that? Unless they look at the video or
Yeah.
something. But these are we paved the way.
Well, you're paving a way now for the younger people around. And like Criss Cross used to get up on the table talking about jump, the Daddy Mac will make you jump. Guess what? Dr. Ronnie Wright is making you jump. He's making those pictures jump out the magazines at you in your eyes. And so when you see it in the supermarkets or the stores, you be like, oh, let me get a copy of that just for the value of the picture on the front. So, we could talk about it. Like I said, I'm visual. But guess what? He has met so many celebrities and worked with so many celebrities. He can't even tell them all. So I put together a collage for you guys. So let's check out this next video.
nice.
God.
Thank you for putting that together. That's amazing.
You are amazing.
That's beautiful.
You are amazing.
Wow.
Okay.
That was a lot of history.
I'm not going to even lie. Just watching it brings tears to my eyes. Just to, you know how you watch a movie or a show and you see somebody or you follow them making it, and when they get to the top, you feel like you a part of it. That's how I felt when I was putting that together.
Oh, thank you.
I felt like I was a part of all of your work and everything that you did, and it just overwhelmed me. With feeling good about what you are doing.
Well, a lot of times, like people come out because and they want to see what I do because they feel compelled to be there because they were there when I shot these pictures, and for them to feel like they're part of that. I just had my first showing in April in Brooklyn, and CNC Gallery down on Atlantic Avenue in
Brooklyn, yeah.
And I woke up on my birthday, which was April 15th, and I was like, I've been having parties every year, so now I done got old and nobody want to throw me a party. So I got up and I talked to my two friends, Kevin and Steve, who they're head of the Hip Hop Path, which is a new organization we just put together doing the week of doing the year of the 50th anniversary of hip hop. Mm-hmm. And I said, let's put something together. So we blew up some pictures and we rented out the gallery and put it together. And the first night was April 16th, and we had over 200 people come out. And I had the guys put the pictures up before I got there, so I didn't have no idea what it was going to look like. I walked in there, I was blown away. Like I was blown away with the little presentation you did today.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. So it never really dawned upon me who I am or what I do until I see it visually out there.
Right.
Even though I'm making it visual for you to see them. Right. But for me to see it and me being the one that did it, I'm like, whoa.
Exactly.
So I'm overwhelmed.
I was overwhelmed with your pictures, and I was saying to myself, I couldn't believe with all of the work that you do and your beautiful work that you do, I had to literally come together with slides to present who you are. Like somebody who's not professional, I just dibble dabble around and doing videos and
I just want to say,
taking pictures.
Excuse me, let me cut you off. You are a bad girl. You are incredible. I am so proud of you.
Now that means a lot coming from the things you do,
and what you just did for me. Oh. And after I heard that song with you and Regina Bell and your rap skills, I was like, whoa.
But thank you so much. That means a whole lot to me coming from you. But I know in interest of time, because I know we're getting close to the hour. I know you did the 50 years of hip hop. That's your Brooklyn, and you also did it at Queens Library, yes. And you also did it in Harlem as well. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the 50 years of hip hop exhibit that you have out now.
Well, it's so ironic because even though I did those 3 boroughs, I got 2 more to go. I got
really?
Staten Island and the Bronx.
Well, maybe I can finally make it to one because I missed those last 3.
Right. There's more to come. As long as I got breath in me and the Lord blessing me, baby, I'm gonna keep on keeping on.
Yes.
It's like I said, when I woke up that day, I was like, and then being the 50th anniversary of hip hop, I said, well, let me capitalize on this. Let me show some of my artwork of the artists and who I've been there. For the Kumo D's, the LL Cool J's, the Run DMC's,
yes,
and all these guys, KRS-One. So I was there, and it's just a blessing for me to show my work and have these guys come out and see their work,
yes,
up there. And life is grand. There's so many bad things going on in the world today, but we try to make a light of it,
right?
And to show these guys in a nice light, that's kind of like my mission.
Well, I grew up hip hop, and we all know back from the Fatback Band on up, because when I was young, that's who I used to hear about all the time, the Fatback Band, and then it came with all the Sugar Hill Gangs, Melly Mel's, and all those other people. I was rapping from when I was like 10 years old in Brooklyn, and I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I grew up hip hop because it had a message in it. It was very political, it was very powerful. Actually, hip hop is what got me into my community work because we rapped about about places and things that we wanted to be outside of our suffering in a lot of those poor communities that we were growing up in. So that's why hip hop became a profound impact on me, because I felt that I was talented enough to use it as a vehicle to get a message across to people that was positive and powerful to inspire them. So I really appreciate the fact that you did, a 50-year hip hop, because hip hop is not just about gang violence and everything that they portray it to be now. The beginning of hip hop was a very powerful political tool and still is to this day. A lot of hip hop artists like Jay-Z, he has went and got lawyers and everything to go in the courts to stop them from locking up young men by using their rap lyrics to convict them. Like a lot of rappers are out here still, doing politics and working in a system to try to change things. And so I could talk about this forever, but in interest of time, I got another video that I want to show for the people who missed out or is going to miss out on his 50-year hip hop photos. We're going to run that tape so y'all can check it out. 50 years of hip hop done by Dr. Ronnie Wright.
Hit it!
Now that is powerful. Oh my God.
I just want to pat myself on the back and say I am so amazing. I am so proud to be who I am. And I hope my children are proud of their daddy.
Yes.
And I appreciate them for sticking with me through all the photo shoots. You know, the people coming in, tearing up our house when I'm doing photo shoots. And my kids was younger. They was like, wow, that's so-and-so. You know, like, they got to meet all the celebrities coming to the house.
Exactly.
I used to do my photo shoots
like
at
you
my
got
house.
to meet all the celebrities coming to the house when you were younger.
Yeah. You know what?
You know, you paid that forward.
Yeah, that's right. Sure
you know,
did.
I wish I had me some celebrities coming through the house so I could get to know some people, but I got to know them in my own way.
Yeah.
You know, they have gods, but that is so powerful, and included in it were your awards that you got.
Yeah, and that right there,
you know?
that was so profound, man. You know, just seeing the magnitude of work that I've done.
Absolutely.
And you know, I don't think we appreciate it. You know, being photographers. Even though we talking about hip hop here, there's 5 elements of hip hop, and photography is not even one.
Wow.
But like I said, well, they wasn't thinking about us back then, but we made it possible for them to be thought of.
Exactly.
So, like one hand washes the other.
But you make people look good. You
Yeah.
make people want to reach out and grab something and say, who
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
Like photography pops. Photography, I mean, like Marvin here at Bravery Studios, he makes me look good. Every show. And every
concur.
time he, shout out to Bravery Studios
Yeah.
because they make me look and sound good every time I come up in here. So the photographer, the engineers, and the people that's behind the scenes that we don't get a chance to see or hear from are the ones that's really pushing it to make it happen. We don't do this by ourselves.
Absolutely.
So we appreciate the photographers. So before we get to the time, because it's getting kind of, I told you, Ronnie we need a whole nother hour for him. But on top of that, he had the audacity to be blessed with being able to play the role as Louis Armstrong in the Cab Calloway story, people.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the Cab Calloway story.
All right, let me brush it in right now. A friend of mine, he go by the name of Kiss. He got to meet Cab Calloway's daughters, and he's always been a Cab Calloway fan. And he got their blessing to go ahead and put this thing together. So he put a bunch of us actors together, myself, Albie Shore, Full Force, Keith Murray, and a whole bunch of other people. Allure, the girl group.
Yeah,
Allure,
the girl, I remember Allure.
and put us together, and we just did our thing with this Cab Calloway story. And it's not a play or anything. It's like a mini movie.
Film, yeah.
And we all over the internet right now, and what he's doing now, he's trying to shop a deal with whoever he can, shop a deal with, because we have more episodes to do. In my particular story, my particular part, I played Louis Armstrong, the light-skinned version trumpet player, and I basically ad-libbed my lines, and when I saw it on the screen, I was like, whoa, but it coincided with what, some of the script that he wrote. Mm-hmm. And I was like, whoa. So I talked to him the other night. I told him I was going to do this interview and I was going to shout us out. And he's still looking. So anybody interested,
well, make sure you shout him out on the Community Vibes with Brown Eyes show, because we support it. And matter of fact, before time is up, let's roll that tape. Let's show a little bit of, the covering of it so people can see it and know where to look for it at.
Wow.
Jazz quartet.
This is crazy.
Playing, and I wanted to just show y'all the cover of it and everything, some pictures from it, so you guys can know what it looks like. Now, where can they find it? It's not out yet, right?
No, it's not out yet. But if you go online on YouTube or something and put the Cab Calloway story in, I'm pretty sure it'll pop up. So we're trying. If it's not up, we're trying to get it back up, and it's just, like I said, life is grand. So we just trying to make the best out of what we got, because like the world is it's in so much turmoil right now.
Right.
We're just trying to make a good thing out of what we got.
Yes, exactly. Well, I want to thank you, because we're coming down to the hour and there's so much more to you that I would like to talk back. So people, we will be having a part 2 with Dr. Ronnie Wright, because we got so much more to talk about. You're doing so many great things. I thank God for you. I thank you for coming out to this show. I just want to let you know, if people don't tell you enough, you are a very special wind behind the wings of all the people that are out here doing what God has gifted them to do, and he has gifted you to highlight them in a way where people can really see the essence of what they do and who they are. So thank you for being that, and being in the community, and also in doing stuff like with for J Love Fashion School of Youth, and he comes out to community events as well to photographer, be the photographer for those events to show community activity, that so people can be informed and see what's going on. So it's just very touching for everyone. So if people want to find you and follow you, or just continue to see what you're doing out there, how can they find you?
Okay.
Or hire him as a photographer too?
On Instagram, I'm Ronnie Wright 1, RONNIEWRIGHT number 1. On Facebook, I'm Ronnie Wright. On TikTok, I'm Ronnie Wright. Oh shoot. Ronnie Wright. Oh shoot. You'll find me. Just look for Ronnie Wright.
Look for Ronnie Wright. You'll definitely find him.
Yeah. And what else I got? Just Google me.
Google him and you will see all kind of things pop up. You will find out how to get in contact with him. If you're looking for a great photographer, somebody that cares about the people, that cares about what you look like and make you pop like you've never popped before in the eyes of others, guess what? Dr. Ronnie Wright is the one you want to talk to. But I want to thank you again for coming out, and I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please leave your comments and anything you want to say to Ronnie or about the show underneath this video. I'm also going to have links under this video that you can just click on to go to all of his pages so you won't have to figure it out. I'm going to put the links down there so you can click on there. And I want to thank you for supporting Community Vibes with Brown Eyes. If you know anybody that you feel would be great to come on the show, please contact us at communityvibesbe@gmail.com, or you can give us a call at 862-231-3433, and we'll be glad to give you a call and check out, some of their work and what they're doing to see if we, can bring them on so we can share with the world what so many people in our communities are doing. So with that, I'm going to bid you farewell. Thank you. You have any last word you want to say to everyone?
I'd just like to say, you kids out there, get pictures of your grandparents, talk to them, and know that history so you can pass it on to your children. And listen to what the elders have to say.
Absolutely. And also follow your calling. You see, he was self-taught photography. Anything that you want to do in this life, you can do it if you answer your calling and use the gift that God has given you so that you can do what you came here to do in this life. Amen. Okay? And with that, I want to end the show with a song that I wrote called Calling, produced by King T Finesse. And I want you to take that with you and remember, you can do anything you put your mind to. And thank you, Bravery Studios. Marvin, I got to shout him out before I leave. Bravery Studios. This show is produced by myself, all videos and everything. Brown Eyes, and I'm happy to be here. So let's kick that song, and remember, answer your calling if you want to be free and live this life the way you want.
When you answer your calling, you can be free. Just live your purpose and your dream. When you answer your calling, in your sunrise, take a chance for yourself to reach higher heights. So many with dreams on their mind, left it behind. Time to rewind, back up to the days when you felt your passion. Put it into play, put it to action. We won't play with time, I know it ain't mine. You'll get left behind, so take a little step and work it, work it. Pause on fear, cause nothing's perfect. Persevere, believe me it's worth it. Sitting on your dream, it's time to birth it. Say a little prayer, the blessing's fervent. Keep the vibe with no disturbance. It's really up to you what you really wanna do, and me too. So I put it in a song for you. Get it, never quit it, we won't give up. When another day comes, you don't have to be stuck in your calling. You can be free, just live your purpose and your dream. When you answer your calling, in your sunrise, take a chance for yourself to reach higher heights in your calling. You can be free, just live